There comes a moment in every life, quiet, brutal and uninvited, when pain sits beside you like an old, unwelcome friend. It doesn't knock, doesn't ask. It just arrives. And for a while, it speaks louder than anything else. It echoes in your mind. It beats in your chest. Presence remains. It distorts the shape of your days and colors every thought with doubt. But what if I told you that pain is not your enemy? Presence remains. What if I told you that your pain is the doorway, not the dead end? Carl Jung once said. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. That is not a poetic sentence. It is a commandment from the deeper self, carved into the very architecture of the soul. The things you most fear, the memories you most avoid, the wounds you dare not touch. Those are your map, away from life, but toward it. You were not given your pain because you were weak. You were given your pain because you were strong enough to transform it. This world was not built by comfort. It was built by discomfort, suffering, frustration, and resilience. Edison failed 10,000 times in search of a light bulb. Lincoln battled lifelong depression through war and personal tragedy. He was born into poverty, abused and told no by every gatekeeper, and then built an empire. Why? Because pain in the right hands is power. Power over others. Power over self. Power to rise when the body says collapse. Power to speak when the voice inside trembles. Presence remains. Power to believe when nothing in your external world gives you permission. You're not here to escape suffering. You're here to alchemize it. Presence remains. That's the great paradox of your evolution. The pain you're running from contains the strength you're searching for. The first lie pain tells you is this: you're alone. But that is a trick, a shadow, a whisper from the fragment ego trying to isolate you from the truth. And the truth is, every great soul has walked through darkness. Every titan of history has cried in silence. Every mountain was climbed on blistered feet. Your pain is not exile. It is initiation. And the sooner you stop treating it like a curse and start using it as a compass, the faster you rise. Look around you. This modern world is addicted to numbing, to distraction, to silencing the soul with noise. Phones, filters, feeds. But beneath it all, every man, every woman is carrying something they cannot name. And the ones who win are not the ones who run from it. They're the ones who face it and ask it, Teg, why are you here? Because your pain didn't arrive without purpose. It came bearing a gift. If you have the courage to unwrap it, there's a story in every wound, a lesson in every scar. But you must be willing to listen, not as a victim, but as a student of your own becoming. Presence remains. When Jung spoke of the shadow, he wasn't talking about some distant Bujiman. He was talking about the parts of you that hurt too much to face, so you buried them. But the shadow does not die in darkness. It grows. It distorts your relationships, poisons your thoughts, and sabotages your dreams, until you finally turn around and confront it with open eyes. So I ask you now, what are you carrying? Pain have you called permanent that might, in truth, be your greatest potential? The heartbreak, the betrayal, the shame, the failure. Presence remains. You don't have to love these things, but you must learn to respect them, because those are the fires that forge your character when you avoid them. But when you walk through them, think of steel. Before it becomes a sword, it is beaten, heated, folded, again and again. The same is true for the soul. You are not broken. You are becoming. And if you dare to see it this way, presence remains. If you dare to believe that your pain is not the end but the beginning, something remarkable happens. You begin to live from a different place. Not from survival, but from vision. Not from fear, but from depth. And the world can no longer control you, because you are no longer afraid of being hurt. That is freedom. But make no mistake, it requires a new mindset. It requires that you stop waiting for the pain to disappear and start asking, remains, how can I use this? Because the most dangerous belief in the world is that your suffering is meaningless, that it's random, that it serves no purpose. That belief kills dreams before they are born. It makes people small. It turns kings into beggars and queens into ghosts. But the moment you assign meaning to your suffering, it changes. You change. You are not here to repeat your pain. You are here to redeem it, and that begins with how you see it. This is the mindset of warriors, artists, inventors, leaders. They do not wait for peace to act. They act, and through action, they create peace. They do not need the world to understand them. They need only one thing: clarity of purpose. Your pain has a purpose, remains. But if you do not choose it consciously, it will choose you unconsciously. That's how people live in loops. Chained to the past, repeating patterns, attracting the same wounds in different costumes. But when you wake up, when you stop asking, why me? And start asking, what now? You shift the axis of your destiny. That's the moment when the pain becomes power. The suffering becomes strength. The wound becomes wisdom. You must stop running. You must stop blaming. And you must stop waiting for permission to heal. Nobody is coming to save you. Presence remains. Not because you're unworthy, but because you're powerful enough to save yourself. When you own that truth, you rise like those who came before you, like Mandela, locked in a cell for decades but emerging with fire in his eyes and forgiveness in his heart. Like Viktor Frankl, who found meaning in a concentration camp, remains. Like every anonymous soul who's been told you can't and still chose to say, watch me. You are one decision away from transformation, one shift in perception away from your power. And it begins by claiming your pain, not as punishment, but as preparation, because on the other side of this is you, the real you, the awakened you, the version of yourself that doesn't fear life, but commands it with arrogance, but with quiet, undeniable conviction. Keep going, because every second you endure what was meant to destroy you, you're becoming someone new, someone forged, not found. You see, most people live life on the surface. They build their identity from circumstances, from titles, from fleeting wins. But that identity is fragile. One loss and it shatters. One betrayal and it crumbles. You, however, are being invited into something deeper, something untouchable. Jung spoke of individuation, becoming who you truly are, not who the world told you to be. And pain is the first call of that process. It strips away the false layers. It tears off the masks. It breaks the mirrors of other people's opinions, not to leave you empty, to bring you face to face with your essence. That's why most never answer the call, because the path to the true self always begins with destruction. But that destruction is sacred. Your pain is not chaos. It is a sculptor. It carves away what's unnecessary, so what's eternal can be revealed. Presence remains. The vision you have, the one that keeps visiting you in the quiet hours, it's not random. It's a memory from your higher self, and the pain you're experiencing now is not in the way of that vision. It is the way. Understand this, you are not being tested. You are being refined. Remains. Like gold in fire, like clay in the hands of a master artist, like a seed beneath the earth. Everything meaningful must endure darkness before it rises. But you must deciding, will you suffer passively or will you suffer forward? Because pain will shape you either way. Remains. The question is whether you will shape it back, whether you will take the raw material of your life and use it as fuel to build something eternal. And yes, requires clarity. Not clarity of outcome, but clarity of direction. Pain blinds you, but vision restores your sight. What do you want? Remains. Not what will numb the ache, not will impress the world. What do you truly want? What calls to you in the silence? Remains. What dream refuses to die inside you, no matter how many times life tried to bury it? Because that's the clue. That's the seed. Presence remains. That's the thing your pain is preparing you for. You're not behind. You're being prepared. Thomas Edison wasn't delayed by his failures. He was being forged through them. Every no was a redirection toward genius. Every dark night was a fire refining his persistence. And when it finally happened, when the light bulb came to life, it wasn't luck. It was the reward of pain transformed into vision. You must look at your own life the same way. Presence remains. What looks like rejection may be redirection. What feels like collapse may be construction. But it's only revealed when you commit, not to escaping pain, to using it. Pain reveals what you really believe. It strips away the spiritual fluff, the fake confidence, the borrowed mantras. Remains. In the furnace of suffering, only truth remains. Do you believe in yourself when nothing outside you affirms it? Presence remains. Do you trust the process when the results disappear? Do you keep moving when every voice says stop? Because that's where greatness lives. Not in the peak, but in the persistence. You must stop seeing pain as a detour and start seeing it as the training ground of your soul. It is teaching you. It is sharpening you. It is pointing you inward, where the true battle is fought, not against the world, but against doubt, fear, apathy, and the pull to settle. You are being called to be more, not by the world, but by your own potential. And that call always comes wrapped in discomfort. Remains. But there's a deeper power within you, older than your wounds, wiser than your circumstances, stronger than your fears. Presence remains. It is the part of you that survived every storm you thought would break you. It is the part of you that dared to hope again after everything fell apart. Presence remains. It is the part of you that keeps rising, keeps believing, keeps becoming, even when the outer world shows no sign of change. That is your true self, and it does not awaken through pleasure. It awakens through pressure. Look at the ancient myths. The hero never begins in comfort. They are cast into exile, swallowed by the whale, sent to the underworld, not to be punished, but to be reborn. You are in your underworld, and it is not a death. It is a preparation, but only if you choose it. You must look your pain in the face and say, I'm not afraid of you. I will learn from you. I will become through you. That is when pain bows to you. That is when the darkness becomes your ally. Not because it disappears, because it no longer defines you. You define it. Every powerful life has a fracture behind it. Carnegie lost his father and worked as a bobbin boy at 13. Disney was told he lacked creativity. Maya Angelou was mute for 5 years after trauma. They were broken, yes, but more importantly, they were rebuilt by choice, by meaning, by refusing to waste their suffering. You now stand at the same threshold. This pain is not your end. It is your edge. And when you stand on it, when you refuse to fall back, when you step forward with trembling feet, but unshaken will, you become something no one can stop. A person who has turned their wounds into wisdom. A soul that has chosen to grow through the storm. Remains. A mind that no longer bows to circumstances but bends them to its will. Because the pain did not break you, it built you. And when you live from that place, you don't just change your life, you change the lives around you. Your resilience becomes a mirror for others. Your healing becomes hope. Your scars become maps for those still lost in the dark. That's the deeper purpose of your pain. Not just personal growth, but spiritual service. But it starts with you. You must become the master of your mind. You must declare, not to the world, but to your own soul, I will not be defined by what hurt me. I will be defined by what I do with it. And when you make that choice, not once, every day, you begin to live in alignment with something eternal, something untouchable, something real. This is not the end. This is where you rise.